Our next accumulation method can also be used as an intensification one, as we will see later. But there's one thing I want to mention before even starting to talk about the method. It is how those accumulation methods actually work in stimulating muscle growth and also making the muscle stronger. Now, the goal, in my opinion, when it comes to making a muscle grow larger, is to maximize the recruitment of the fast twitch fibers and making them do enough workload to get stimulated. Now, these fibers can be recruited when the load on the barbell represents roughly 80-85% of your strength at the moment. That could either mean using a barbell weight of 80 to 85%, in which case you would recruit the fast twitch fibers from the first rep. Or you can use the fatigue that accumulates, hence the term accumulation, during the set. As the muscle becomes more and more fatigued, then it's becoming weaker. But the barbell weight stays the same. So since the barbell weight stays the same, but you are weaker, the weight feels heavier. And that's why the body eventually will have to recruit the fast twitch fibers, even if the weight is fairly light. That's how the accumulation method works. So it's important to understand that concept because it will come back with every single method we're going to cover. Now, our next accumulation method is called the 1 1/4 rep, also called double contraction. We call it double contraction because basically what you're trying to accomplish is you do a certain portion of the range of motion twice every single repetition. That accomplishes two things. First, it allows you to put more stress on one muscle, the muscle being involved in that portion of the range of motion. It also allows you to strengthen a specific portion of the range of motion by doing more work in that position. So if I'm using it to build a muscle, for example, if I'm doing a squat and I want to focus more on my quads, I could do the upper portion, which is done mostly by my quadriceps, twice every rep. So it would look like this. I'm going down, going up, and going down fully. That would be one rep. Now, what happens is that since my quads are doing twice as much work per rep, it means that this specific muscle will fatigue at a faster rate, meaning that since it's fatiguing faster, I have to recruit my fast twitch fibers inside that muscle sooner. So if my problem in the squat is my weak quads, it's probably because I'm not good at recruiting it, especially not its fast twitch fibers. So if I'm using the 1 1/2 technique, 1 1/4 technique, to target the quadriceps, I'm creating more fatigue. I'm teaching my brain this is the muscle I want to use, fatiguing faster, and finally recruiting my fast twitch fibers sooner than normal. So I'm programming my brain to recruit that muscle. I can also use it to strengthen a weak portion in the range of motion. For example, if I'm weak in the bottom position of a squat, and I'm relying too much on the stretch reflex, I could use a 1 1/4 squat in the bottom position, going up slowly, not using the stretch reflex, back down, and then up. That would be one rep. So basically, I'm doubling the point in the range of motion where I'm weaker. I'm getting thus more stimulation at that angle, more workload, and I'm becoming stronger. So that can be done with any big compound lift. The bench press, if you want to emphasize the triceps more, you can do the upper portion twice. If I want to focus on the chest more, I could do the lower portion twice. Works with any single exercise. Now, it's important, though, to understand, to make it work, that half or quarter repetition has to be performed slower than the full rep. Because otherwise, I will tend to use the stretch reflex too much. It really, we want to focus on contracting, feeling the muscle, then pressing up. Very important to make that half rep much slower than the full rep. It is a motor learning. You are teaching your brain to recruit that muscle when doing that exercise. So you have to use a technique, a form, a speed that forces you or teach your body to better use that muscle. So that is double contraction or 1 1/4 technique.